So I think that with new fighting games coming out right now, there's going to be a lot of new fans for fighting games playing, right? A lot of new generation, I should say, right? Because we're moving on to the PS5 and Xbox Series X / Series S, right? We're moving on to the next design space of consoles. And that is where Street Fighter 6 is going to be coming out. That's where possibly Tekken 8 is going to be coming out. Maybe Soul Calibur 7, Mortal Kombat 12, right? Or Injustice 3, whichever they decide to do. Any more games like that. King of Fighters 15 is coming out. Melty Blood coming out, right? Those are coming out within 2021 to 2022. And I think that while they're not a death sentence if fighting games don't have things, I think that we should really talk about what fighting games need to have in 2022, right? Features. I don't know how to spell features. Fighting games need in 2022. Oh, 2022. Right? Features fighting games need in 2022. I think this kind of looks awkward. I don't know if this is stretched for some reason. Let's see if we can fix it. No. That looks the most normal. But we need to bring it in a little. There we go. Oh. All right. I'm the best. So, first things first. All right, let's go ahead and organize these by points. Roll. Do I even have to say it? Do I have to finish this statement? You know what I'm going to say, right? Rollback netcode. Flash. Let me just turn on caps lock. I'm gonna not just put rollback netcode, right? And the reason why I'm putting very strong online experience is because I don't know if a feature is gonna come along within the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, that is something on top of rollback. Because what rollback netcode is this delay based with rollback on top of it, right? It's netcode, it is fighting game netcode with a rollback solution in it so that you don't have to worry about the slowdown, right? It tries to kind of match both players to each other when they get out of sync instead of slowing the game down, but sometimes in rollback solutions the slowdowns still occasionally happen, right? So that's not a proper implementation of rollback to the maximum degree, but we just need strong online experience, right? Right now we are in the era of online gaming, especially when it comes to fighting games. There is not, and shooting games, there's not a lot of LANs happening, right? I'll say for shooting game players, let's just call them LANs, right? But we don't call them LANs in the world of fighting games. They are not happening right now, not as frequently as they used to, right? So because of that, you need to make sure that your game actually works and functions online. It needs to be good enough so that people can actually play it and enjoy it in a way that's not going to completely hamper the experience and make it so that the game doesn't even feel like the game that they're playing when they play offline with their friends, with their family, possibly at offline tournaments and offline gatherings. You want that game to be almost the same, as close as possible. And currently the best way to do that is with a good rollback netcode solution. Guilty Gear has it. I believe Melty Blood has it or is getting it. And I know for certain that KOF 15 is going to have rollback netcode. Tekken 8, talking to you. Soul Calibur 7, possibly, talking to you. Dragon Ball FighterZ 2? Dragon Ball FighterZ Super Edition, Update, Super Crazy, Hyper Edition. That better have rollback netcode. Hey, what's up? Lilith, yeah. Say hi to YouTube, everyone. Haha. Rollback netcode or a strong online experience is so integral to a game's longevity. I've seen games that people say, yo, this game is so sick, just die because the netcode sucks, right? A game along the lines of Sam Show. Samurai Showdown, the one that recently came out, 2018, 2019? Very small, dedicated offline / parsec only player base. And the reason for that is because the actual online solution they have for the game, the built-in netcode, is horrible. It's not good. It's really bad. You spitting, Remy? You spitting about netcode? She said rollback's good. He also said that devs need to step it up and make sure they have rollback in all their games. Yeah, so that's the first, right? I think that's probably number one. I'm not going to say that this list is ordered or anything, but this is definitely one of the most important things for fighting games in 2022. Until the end of human existence. Features fighting games need until the end of mankind. Whatever monkeys get after Planet of the Apes happens, that's for them, right? I'm talking about for us humans, right? This is who I care about. True human fighting game fans, not you mouth-breathing gorillas. I mean that in the nicest way possible. I think the second thing that fighting games need good training mode / in-game frame data. Now more than ever, people have significantly less time, also more time when you think about it, because there's a lot less things going on in the world. You can't really go out. But a lot of the people who enjoy video games in general are adults, right? It's not just the kids' pastime anymore that people used to say it was. Now, gaming is also done by adults with full-time jobs, with a life, with kids, with priorities, right? When you think about that, people don't want to devote all of their time to, it should be in the room somewhere. People don't want to devote all of their time to learning how to properly play a fighting game, right? If they want to feel like they're doing something with versus their friends online, just even in story mode, whatever. The best way to do that is to give them the proper tools and tutorial to learn the game. I say good training mode because in a training mode, there should also be some sort of a tutorial / combo challenge, event challenge where it's like, land this many jump ins, block this many anti-airs, or successfully anti-air this many times, block this many jump ins, tech X number of throws, things like that. Things that are going to teach people the game on a basic level along the lines of the kind of tutorials that you get even for the basic things in something like League of Legends or any shooting game or other MOBAs, card games even kind of give you like a rigorous tutorial when they first start. They're like, hey, this is how you play your cards. Hey, this is how you activate your mana or your energy or whatever, right? This is how you go through your phases. They teach you that. Fighting games don't really teach a lot of that because there is technically like turns in a sense or phases in fighting games to a sense, very loosely. I like to say that card games and fighting games have a lot in common for those reasons exactly. It's a little more read-based, of course, and reaction-based than card games are, but the tutorial point still stands. There should be good tutorials / in-game training mode things. Like Mortal Kombat has some of the best in-game training modes I've seen. Mortal Kombat 11 specifically. I don't remember if X had anything good. I think Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance was actually, the Conquest mode was actually just a disguised training mode. It taught you every character's basic pokes, every character's anti-airs, and every character's combo strings. It literally taught you that and just threw it at you. And special moves, I believe, too. Right? Maybe not like anti-airs, because some characters didn't have them. Some characters didn't have like a good back 3 to anti-air with, or like a good standing one. But it would show you like situations that would happen, and you'd have to, beat that jump in, or you'd have to beat that throw. Throws were, you just block them, by the way. You can also duck under throws in the older Mortal Kombat games. I believe you still can in the new ones too. I digress. Totally besides the point. Training modes / tutorials are very, very important because not everyone has the time to learn fighting games the same way that some of us did without using it. Looking for tutorials online, on YouTube. It is a powerful resource, but it's also nice to have it in the game, endemic to the community that bought the game or paid for the game, whatever, right? And then in-game frame data, looking at you, Tekken 7, should not be something that you have to pay for later on in the game. Make sure that when you design the game knowing that in-game frame data should be in it already, right? There's super old games that have in-game frame data, like Virtua Fighter 5. Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown on the Xbox 360 had in-game frame data, and then it continued for Ultimate Showdown. Right, people were like, "Whoa, in-game frame data! This is sick!" In the new re-release of the game, Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, it already existed. Hey, what's up, Tywalker? We're recording for YouTube. It already existed in Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, and I believe it even existed in Virtua Fighter 5 the original. There is no reason for any game in this day and age to not have in-game frame data. In-game frame data is very essential to understanding what your character can do on defense and offense. And a good training mode will teach you what to do with those numbers. I think that's number 2. It's like number 2 / number 3, right? Because you could also say that there are 2 separate things that need to happen. I think number 3, if I'm being quite honest. Oops. This could also go towards the rollback netcode / very strong online experience. I'm glad I put this in its own separate category. Honestly, I think that good UI and online lobbies for lobbies and ranked matchmaking is like kind of different from specifically just rollback netcode, right? And I put rollback netcode / very strong online experience as the actual like your connection to the server. That is what I mean by that. Okay, so I have to count this separately. Good UI means an easy to navigate way to figure out what you're doing online and how to invite your friends to lobbies or how to get a lobby going, etc. Good ranked filters, good search filters, even for online lobbies, even just trying to find the lobby. You don't want to go to search for lobbies and not be able to find lobbies in your area because the searches aren't implemented properly, right? You want to be able to find lobbies close to you or away from you, depending on what you're looking for. You want to be able to invite friends or randoms easier than it is to do in a lot of games currently. Let's just be real about Guilty Gear Strive's online experience, not just the netcode. The netcode's phenomenal. The netcode's great. But its actual online experience in the rank towers and in-house lobbies is very poor. Very poor. I've seen people not be able to connect to each other's rooms, houses, whatever you want to call it. I've seen people get kicked constantly. Matches being broken up, being taken down by the online experience. So it's not even just UI, it's also, good system mechanics. But let's just say UI, right? So UI makes it make sure it's understandable user interface, right? And ranked matchmaking, for the love of God, every game needs a Wi-Fi filter. I need to be able to choose if I play against someone who is on Wi-Fi or not. Personally, me, I don't care. Whenever I play games that have Wi-Fi filters, when I played DOA for a little bit, there's a Wi-Fi indicator. And I'd still play people on Wi-Fi. I didn't care. Tekken game has terrible netcode. Very bad netcode. I still play people on Wi-Fi. But it's nice. Mortal Kombat 11 also has a Wi-Fi indicator. So did Mortal Kombat X, I believe. And Injustice 1 and 2. Or maybe Injustice 2. Maybe not Injustice 1. But those games already showed that you can have a Wi-Fi indicator and Wi-Fi players will still find matches. I think that what a lot of devs are afraid of is that if they put a Wi-Fi indicator in their game, that no one's gonna play Wi-Fi players. That Wi-Fi players just will never find matches unless it's against other Wi-Fi players. Which, yeah, is just the luck of the draw. It's kind of a coin flip. It could happen, it could not happen, right? You might find a lot of players, a handful of players that are casual at heart and don't care that they need to be finding wired only matches, right? And then you have, the super tough, hardcore crowd, wired only. If you're a Wi-Fi player, you're disgusting and your family should have never raised you, right? Things like that. It's just how some people think. Acceptable, whatever, right? Those people will be able to play with each other and will be able to find each other. And then the people who are more casual, which is the vast majority of the audience, as long as the game stays strong and has good longevity because of the features above it, those casuals will stick around, and there will be tons of Wi-Fi players and tons of casuals who are wired, who are totally okay with playing Wi-Fi players. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head. I was thinking about this like a little bit while I was at work during the end of my shift, maybe like 2-3 hours ago. I was like thinking about, damn, Guilty Gear Strive has good netcode. Guilty Gear has rollback. People originally said before Plus R got rollback that Guilty Gear could not have rollback, that the way that the game worked, it would not function properly with rollback netcode. Joke's on you guys. Plus R is sick with rollback. Strive is okay. It's okay with rollback. It's a rollback fighter, nothing more, nothing less, as the meme says, right? It doesn't have in-game frame data, which I don't like. right? But it has a pretty decent training mode. It's easy to record. It's easy. Once you get the hang of it, you have to double tap the button to record, double tap to play it, right? But once you get used to that, recording is easy. Playing back things is easy. Looking through all the moves, finding what moves your opponent, what moves the opponent's character has and your character have, pretty easy as well. But what it's missing is this last one. So it has damn near 2 of the 3, but it's missing a very crucial one here, right? It's missing making sure that the matches that you are getting of high quality will actually be able to be played, because that's something that doesn't always work with Strive. And it sucks. Like when we think about a game that also has rollback netcode and kind of like anime style lobby characters, Them's Fighting Herds lobbies don't break as often as Guild Seeker's drives do. Them's Fighting Herds also has rollback netcode. Them's Fighting Herds has a way better lobby system, and I've never even played the game. I've just watched it. I watched the homies of mine stream it and play it, and it looks like it makes significantly more sense. And you know, for some reason, it's a smaller dev system. Oh, you know what? There might be one other thing I want to add to this list. I believe that we're in the day and age where I think we're very close to consoles dying. And I don't mean that in a negative way. What I mean is we're very close to the point where console exclusivity will no longer be a thing, or it'll just be a user experience is why you get it. You get it for the exclusives on the single player side, right? Like you want Halo or you want God of War, right? That's why you get an Xbox, or that's why you get a PlayStation. But that almost always won't be the reason why you get a console is for fighting games, right? Currently PlayStation gets all the fighting games, Xbox doesn't get some, right? Like Xbox didn't get Guilty Gear Strive, but it is getting King of Fighters, right? Let's hope that stops, because I think the games this day and age also should have crossplay. Slash that one is a big if, but crossplay is extremely close for almost every game. I think we're getting close to the point where multiplayer games, even Call of Duty games, like people used to say, oh yeah, if you play Call of Duty on Xbox you suck because there's better players on PlayStation. Or oh yeah, if you're playing Call of Duty on console you suck because there's better players on PC, right? That used to be the saying. And now those floodgates have opened up, and of course there's the whole debate between aim assist, no aim assist, cheaters on PC, no cheaters on console. But the debate has opened up, or is no longer open, about who's the best, because now they all play together. And we've seen phenomenal controller players on PC, we've seen phenomenal controller players on PS4 and on Xbox, and we've seen PC dominate mouse and keyboard, right? Those things are a little less prevalent in fighting games, because in fighting games you're usually using, pardon me for walking away, I have to grab something. You're usually using one of these, controller, a pad, right? Usually using a pad. Let me put them over here. Apologies. Very bad at understanding where my stuff is. So. New to this whole recording YouTube videos thing. Right? Or stick. So when you're using a stick or a pad, your weaponry is usually the same. The only way that your weaponry is not the same is if you're using a keyboard, which in a sense, you can now do that with things like a hitbox or a mixbox. I don't own a hitbox or a mixbox, so I can't whip one of those out for you guys real quick. But it's essentially a button box. It's a big old controller where you have buttons right here where the lever is. So you have like 4 buttons, one for up, down, left, right. And then you have your buttons, your face buttons. So it's essentially the same thing as playing on a keyboard, right? So because the inputs are relatively the same on no matter what console or device in general you're playing on, I think that it's about time that more devs stop blaming PlayStation and Xbox for there not being crossplay and start taking the blame for it themselves, because it's literally, hey, what's up, I bring Terror, recording something for YouTube. We're talking about things that fighting games need, features fighting games need for the future of fighting games, or that they should probably have, right? I think that there's no reason why more games can't be crossplay. And people say, oh, it's expensive. Oh, if you don't make enough money, they don't want to make your game crossplay. And to that I say, Brawlhalla is crossplay and free to play. Brawlhalla is on phones, Switch, PS4, PC, and Xbox. It's on everything. It's on everything. Fantasy Strike is a free-to-play fighting game that makes damn near no fucking money. All right? No money. And it's on PS4, Switch, and PC. Full crossplay. Full crossplay. There is no excuse for these big devs to not have crossplay. Now, what people are going to say is, oh, well, what if the netcode is significantly worse on one or the other? That is where rollback netcode / very strong online experience come into play. That is where you make sure that your game is of the highest quality in your netcode department so that you can have crossplay without hindering the strength of X console or device, right? Whether PC has more input delay or console has more input delay. We know that right now it's console, but just in case that ever changes in the future, right? And I say possible free-to-play model because there's so many games that offer games as a service type live deals where you're just playing, you have some sort of a battle pass or like a content pass, and the game is free to play. And you have some sort of a subscription service so you can buy skins a la League of Legends or what's another good example? Apex Legends, things like that, right? I think that style of game, as much as people hate it, it does allow for a lot of growth in your game because it says you don't have to have $60 to try my game. It says if you have the device that you want to play it on, try our game. If you like it, you can support us. If you like it, you don't have to support us, right? And I think that a lot of people do go a little overboard and become mules, right? That's fine, whatever. That's what the devs want. The devs want you to be mules, right? Because if you're not, then how are you making them any money, right? I believe my stream just dropped. We'll be right back. I believe my stream just dropped. Hey, we're back. I absolutely hate my internet, by the way. I just thought I'd let everyone know. I absolutely fucking cannot stand my internet. But what I will say is Sony is not the problem when it comes to crossplay. If you're still here, by the way, Abyss Commando, I want to let you know now that it's not Sony. It's not. Because if it was Sony wouldn't allow a game as small as Fantasy Strike to actually have crossplay in it. They make sure that it is on the developer side. They say, hey, if you want crossplay implemented, it has to be on your side. You have to make the server that our connectors, that our players on PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Network connect to. Then from that, they connect to your server, and that's how they get their crossplay. I wish there were more full 3D fighters in the style of Soul Calibur. Me too. There's significantly less 3D fighters than there used to be. I think that the bigger thing is, it's more that the developers are lazy and don't want to implement their own servers and would rather coast off of the server that the peer-to-peerness of Xbox or PlayStation or Steam. They don't want to build a dedicated server. But if they did, not just for hosting, harvesting and holding replays and like ranked points and leaderboards, like an actual dedicated server, they don't, and that's why there's no crossplay. It has nothing to do with Sony, because if it had anything to do with Sony, games as small as Brawlhalla and Fortnite, I'm sorry, not Fortnite, Fantasy Strike and Brawlhalla and Dauntless would absolutely not have fucking crossplay, and they do because of the fact that they host it server side. Maybe even some developers going for fully realistic characters without fantasy or magic and spells and stuff. I think that at that point you just have another Tekken, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you just have another Tekken? I can't think of anything else that we need specifically for the world of fighting games in the future, right? But I think that this one here is a big maybe, but it makes it easier for people to get into your game. If you tell someone, hey, Mortal Kombat 12 is out, you've never played Tekken, I'm actually gonna play it today or in a little bit. So this one right here is weird because if you've ever played a free-to-play game, they're very addicting and they're very easy to try and pick up and just like give as many as you can a try. And the reason why they do that is to try to hook people, try to pull them in, try to get them into the ecosystem where they're at least buying the battle pass or buying, a skin here and there, buying like a starter kit, something like $20, $25. All the character pack where you get all the characters for this season for like $12, right? Whatever, something like that, because that supports the developers. in an easier way when it comes to them making the free-to-play model as easy as it is to get into, right? There are games with huge player counts that spend very little money. They spend $5-10, but you don't see these devs going out of business, but because there's millions of players spending $5 or $10, not hundreds of thousands of players paying $60 and then saying, you know, I don't really like this game, I'm not gonna buy any of the DLC. DLC comes out, they never buy it, they never touch it. They see one character they like that comes out, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna buy that one character, $5, cool, boom, right there, right off the spot. When instead you could hook them with a games as a service model, and only has a few armed characters. You mean characters with weapons? I believe so. I believe it's like Noctis and Yoshimitsu and Negan. That's it. That I can think of. I might be missing someone. Maybe Elisa with her chainsaws. I think that free-to-play models are kind of like scary. They're daunting. They're weird for devs that are used to getting their money up front by, you know, making you pay that $60, that $70, right? But they're also they're a hindrance in the sense that they stop more people from just trying your game. And in a world where we are far past the arcade days, where technology and games are pushing so much more than they did back then. And I mean, like, pushing more as in sales. I think that it's okay to take that step and try to make a free-to-play or like a super low cost fighting game, right? Something where you just I think Killer Instinct was free to play, or maybe it was $20 or something, and then there was a rotating character. I think it was free, and there was a rotating character every week. You would get one rotating character, and you could buy all the characters, or you could buy each individual character that you wanted. And Killer Instinct was a huge hit. It was a very successful fighting game for its time. And if there's a content train that can keep going for years, that runs off a model like that with 4 characters in rotation, 5 characters in rotation out of like a 40 character, 30 character roster, that's pretty good. You just got to make sure that those characters are still labable, like in Brawlhalla, even if you don't own them. That's a big deal, is if you don't own a character in some fighting games, you cannot lab them. But in those free-to-play fighting games, if they ever try it, they need to make sure that if the characters aren't free and you have to buy the characters, that you can still lab them. Because that's a huge paywall that I dislike too. I should have mentioned that in the good training mode / in-game frame data section, and I totally forgot to. And now I don't know if I have a way to actually fix that. Yeah, I might be able to bring that up here in a bit. I'm in on my, because I have to edit this together. I have high hopes for Riot's Project L. There's no fighting games that can actually do that right. That's where you're wrong, Wonderful Deluxe. Brawlhalla does it perfectly. Brawlhalla, as much as we hate to admit it, platform fighters are fighting games, and they do it fucking brilliantly. They have like 6 characters on rotation every month. 6 characters, I think it's maybe every 2 weeks. They have 6 characters on rotation. You can buy characters, platform fighters or death fighters, exactly. And they do it brilliantly. They have crossplay. They have a phenomenal UI, online lobbies, ranked matchmaking, good training mode, in-game frame data, rollback netcode, and they are free to play with crossplay. They have literally everything on this list. Brawlhalla is indeed a fighting game. As much as you don't want to admit it because of how different it is as a platform fighter from other games, Brawlhalla has everything on this list and is a fighting game. And probably has better prize pools than any fighting game that you like, and blows it out of the water by a fuck ton. And that's not even, I'm not even just trying to praise Brawlhalla. Like, I wish more games did things the way Brawlhalla does. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't hate it because it's different. I hate it because it looks lame. It could be lame. It can be kind of lame sometimes. But that's just like the meta of the game. I'm not talking about the meta of the game. I'm talking about the features. It is feature rich. It is like through the brim. It has all of the things that I think the Riot fighting game will probably have. And I think the Riot fighting game, if it has its models, like its monetization models and its currency system, and hopefully free to playness in the vein of Brawlhalla, I think it's gonna be a very successful fighting game. It's gonna be, see, Ibring Terror said it perfectly. Just do it like in League, make all the characters free to achieve by playing, give them an option to buy them instantly with cash and plus skins. Yes, that's exactly it. Yes. Now, every fighting game won't be able to do that. I don't think fighting games need to do that, but it would definitely be cool. It would probably be cool because it would be easier for a lot of people to get into the space, right? You can just say, hey, have you ever played this game? No, I've never tried it before. Oh, hey, it's free to play. Give it a shot, dude. Hey, you kind of like fighting games, right? Hey, have you ever played that Super Smash Brothers game? Hey, try this fighting game. Oh, well, how much is it? No, it's free to play, man. Just go on the PlayStation Store and download it. Oh, did I mention it has crossplay? I'm on PC, so don't worry. We can play together. How's the online? Oh, it has rollback netcode. Have you ever heard of that thing that the Cannon brothers created? You know, the guys that used to run Evo? Big brain. I'm telling you, man. I definitely want fighting games to have cool costumes and skins. Yeah, the best way for them to do that is probably just to make it free to play. I think that Fantasy Strike has a pretty good, like a pretty fair and good like skin system. But I don't think... Oh shit, you got me. Oh shit. Who's that? I've never heard of that guy. Sorry, I only know the Cannon brothers. Mr. The Wiz? The Wizard of Oz? Yeah, I never liked that movie anyway. Honestly, the book was significantly better, you know. Also, Riot already has these characters and skins designed. Yes, true. But I mean, there's still ways for other fighting games to kind of mimic that style. And of course, I don't expect every AAA fighter on the planet to go the free-to-play route. That's crazy, right? But I think that new IPs should probably cling on to that free-to-play system because it's probably the smartest and best way to go, as long as they have these things above it. If they have these things above it right here, the ones I have highlighted, then crossplay and free-to-play models are definitely the way to go, 100%. But if they don't have very strong online experiences / rollback netcode, if they don't have a good training mode / in-game frame data, if they don't have good UI for online lobbies and ranked matchmaking, they should probably worry about that before they worry about crossplay and a free-to-play model. Mugens? That is indeed what Mugens have. They have over 156 characters, dude. 100%. Over 156 characters. I can name a Mugen with 250 characters right now. Never played a Mugen in my life. Anyways, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Please subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Hey, tell me about what other features that you want from fighting games in the future until the end of mankind. Okay, please. Like, let devs know what they need to give us for us to continue to play their games and make sure that their games are successful. Not just in the, short term where all the casuals buy it, but in the long term, in the longevity of the scene that wants to continue playing it and making it grow. Anyways, this is Beanie Thuggish, signing out.